welcome to First Take. I am Evan Cohen, and we got a great crew today. David Dennis Jr., Tim Bontemps, Alan Hahn. Fellas, let's dive right in. The Lakers finally got their big man. After clearing waivers yesterday, free agent center DeAndre Ayton has agreed to sign a 2-year deal with the Los Angeles Lakers, sources told ESPN. The former #1 pick averaged 14.4 points, 10.2 rebounds, while shooting 56.6%, and is the first player to average at least 10 points and 10 rebounds in each of his first 7 NBA seasons since Dwight Howard did it. So let's take a look at the moves the Lakers have made thus far this offseason. They lost Dorian Finney-Smith to the Rockets, though they were able to sign both DeAndre Ayton and Jake LaRavia to 2-year deals. David, how does the Ayton move affect your confidence in the Lakers?
Okay, let's start on the bright side. The bright side is they have a center who's better than Jackson Hayes, which means that they have a center, right? They have somebody who's going to play center minutes. That's about the end of the bright side that I have for this Lakers team. This cannot be the move that you feel like is going to get you closer to a championship. This cannot be the move that should instill confidence in Luka Doncic or anybody else, that you have somebody who is going to play meaningful minutes come playoff time. And this is not going to instill confidence that him and that JJ Redick is going to have an easier job coaching a guy who you can name all those numbers. Those numbers you named were beautiful. All the rebounds, they're great. You said Dwight Howard's name. That's really cool. But what we also know is that he has been, moved on from other organizations who have basically had enough of dealing with him. We know that there's issues with motivation, with having his head screwed on straight, and you're going to add that to an organization that is already sort of in flux right now with LeBron James and his statements that he's made with Rich Paul, and trying to keep Luka Doncic there, and a second-year coach in JJ Redick, and the Western Conference, and all the issues that you have. Other than that, everything is great. But right now, I have real concerns about what the Lakers are planning to do this offseason to make them anywhere better than what they had last year.
Bontemps?
I mean, that's sort of the problem, right? Like, everybody's looking at how can the Lakers become a contender. The Lakers weren't really a contender last year, and there wasn't really anything sitting out there in front of them that was going to make them a contender this offseason. Like, yeah, they signed DeAndre Ayton. He's one of the better centers that's been available. He has his flaws, but he is a talented player. He's more talented than most of the options they had at the start of free agency, but that also wasn't going to fix the various flaws that this Laker team has, which is the reason why they lost in 5 games to the Minnesota Timberwolves in the first round. The Minnesota Timberwolves team that went on to lose in 5 games to the Oklahoma City Thunder in the Western Conference Finals, right? That is the kind of gap that we're talking about with where the Lakers are at. The Lakers are 4th in the betting odds right now. They're 4th in the betting odds because of the proximity from Los Angeles to Las Vegas. We are still in a world where, Vegas dominates where the odds are set. The Lakers really are a team that is barely a play-in, or barely a borderline. They are a borderline play-in team in the Western Conference. Obviously, the Thunder are better, the Rockets are better, the Nuggets are better, the Warriors might be better, the Clippers are better, the Wolves are better. I mean, you're already up to 5 or 6 teams. That's before you talk about San Antonio. That's before you talk about Dallas with the help of Kyrie Irving. Like, they are a talented team, but the Western Conference is incredibly deep, and there's just not a real path to them being that good. And whether it was DeAndre Ayton or somebody else, it wasn't going to solve it.
Yeah, they had to fill a center position. At least they got. Sure, think about it. At least they got somebody to play the position that's 7 feet and can actually get a rebound, because that was a major issue for this team. Now, the problem is that fit with this team still has to include LeBron James. It still has to include how does it work? Because right now it's all about Luka Doncic. Right now it's about building forward. DeAndre Ayton has a 2-year deal. He has a player option. Why? Because if things work out in L.A. for him, if he puts up good numbers, he might want to test the open market, see if he can get some more money. So I don't even know if he's 10 toes down right now in L.A. either. Luka's going to be on his case because Luka needs a big man. We saw that in Dallas, why it works. But this still all centers around LeBron James, because Luka and LeBron together are why the Lakers are even in any conversation to be a contender in the West. But if those two guys aren't together, this is barely a playoff.
But you mentioned Luka, Alan. Was this move made for Luka, or was this move made because they need a center? And there's a difference, right? A rim-running, lob threat, both. So you think he's certainly Luka?
Well, you got to see if you can. First of all, they played Fortnite together, so that's cool.
Okay, cool.
You have that. But I think from Dallas, the right way to build around him is you definitely need a pick-and-roll center. You need somebody that can rebound and get outlets. That's what Luka likes. So you get a player for Luka. So it is for now and it is for the future. Hey, if this works, if this hits, we have a guy that we can take forward because he's still relatively young and he's still a guy that hasn't even touched his potential yet as a former #1 pick. He is a double-double machine, but he's got to be motivated every single game. And boy, I'll tell you what, mic up J.J. Redick in these huddles.
Well,
because that could be interesting.
Well, that's the thing. We're talking Luka, we're talking LeBron. J.J. Redick is an integral part of this. I'm not concerned, I'm not convinced that come playoff time, we're in April, and you have to, if they even make it into the playoffs, right, you're facing Minnesota, you're facing one of these teams, that Ayton is going to see the court. He may be in the Jackson Hayes position. I know, JJ may go small, but that patience wears thin with JJ Redick. We know that already. And if we see DeAndre Ayton that is unmotivated,
not competing,
yep, that's slacking on defense, that even Luka Doncic and LeBron James cannot reclaim him as this sort of renovation project, JJ Redick could say, I don't care about the contracts, I don't care about any of that. I'm going with my 5 guys. We're going to play 48 minutes like we did last time in the playoffs, and everybody trashed me for doing that because I do not trust DeAndre Ayton. I think we're more likely to see a 20-10 DeAndre Ayton in the playoffs.
You know what he needs? By the way, we're talking about the Lakers and Luka and all that stuff, but how about a guy that was the #1 pick? This is it. This is it. How could you not be motivated? It's the Lakers. If you show up and you aren't competing for a rebound, or you're a passenger, or you're somebody that's an observer, you're not even on the bus. No, you can't have that kind of year in LA. You can do it in Portland. Nobody's paying attention. Even in Phoenix for a minute, it was sort of like everybody just stopped paying attention to Phoenix. Everybody's watching right now. If you want to get that next big contract that he's always talked about, you're a #1 pick. If you feel that much, if your future in the NBA right now relies on whether or not you show the hell up and compete for a Laker team that everybody's saying right now is not good enough to win a championship, you could be the difference. He's got to show up motivated more than he ever was, maybe even all the way back to his rookie year.
Again, though, this is all a conversation about DeAndre Ayton. DeAndre Ayton is not changing the course of the Lakers. That's the whole problem. The Lakers have a lot of issues they have to resolve, and DeAndre Ayton isn't good enough to fix them. And that's really been the fundamental issue going back a couple of years now. The Lakers have been out draft picks for years, really since the Russell Westbrook trade. They've never gotten back on track from that, even while having Anthony Davis and LeBron James, and now Luka Doncic and LeBron James. They still have a flawed enough roster around them that they haven't been able to make it out of the first round of the playoffs outside of that one trip to the conference finals. So they're just not that close to being a championship level team. And whether they signed Brook Lopez or DeAndre Ayton or Al Horford, any of these free agent centers, it wasn't going to change that fundamental reality, which is this team has to get better in a variety of areas, and they have very few ways to do so.
But if you're somebody that is convinced LeBron is going to be on the Lakers next year, which I am personally not, I don't think you are as well, Alan, but I know you guys are. If you're convinced LeBron is going to be on the Lakers next year, isn't this his specialty? Isn't the reclamation project with talent his specialty? He won a championship with the Lakers with Dwight Howard and JaVale McGee as his centers. When he was in Miami, Chris Birdman Anderson was suspended from the NBA. Nobody remembered he existed. He comes off the street, and he was great for them. He said, correct me if I'm wrong, you guys were covering the Knicks at the time, I'll take J.R. Smith. I got him. And J.R. Smith was great in helping them win a championship. So if you believe LeBron is going to be on the Lakers, why do you not believe he can have this as a reclamation project, the #1 overall pick in the draft?
I believe that DeAndre Ayton can play well with Luka Doncic and LeBron James. I think that's very good, a very good